Lavender Street always seemed to be a place of peace and tranquility in this small country town. But one day in house number 13, strange events began to happen. They started with a light bulb that suddenly began to glow without interruption. The residents of the house, including the young Smith family, noticed this something but did not pay much attention to it in the beginning. After a few days, the light from the bulb became noticeably brighter and more dazzling. At first they thought it was an accident or a wiring problem, but when no electrician could explain the phenomenon, they began to realize that something was wrong. The Smith family began to feel uneasy when the light bulb not only didn't burn out, but also didn't dim, continuing to shine brighter and brighter each day. They decided to get to the bottom of the mystery of this light bulb. The family contacted a local historian who told them a scary legend associated with Lavender Street. According to him, the light bulb in their house was part of a curse placed on the house years ago. The legend said that a sinister, notorious witch lived in house number 13. She was banished from the city after her dark spells brought death and destruction. But before she left this world, she cast a curse on the house and all who lived in it. The light bulb that burned forever was part of that curse, a symbol of eternal torment and sleeplessness for all who dared to enter that house. The Smith family was shocked by what they heard, but decided they needed to figure it out to rid themselves of the curse. The Smith family began looking for ways to rid themselves of the curse, but their attempts were in vain. They turned to exorcists, sorcerers, and magicians, but no one could help them. The light bulb continued to burn brighter and brighter, as if mocking their suffering. Soon the Smith family began to notice that the bulb was affecting their mental state. They were becoming irritable, aggressive, and paranoid. Even the children began having strange dreams and hearing whispers and moans from the darkness. Desperate, they turned to an old scribe who lived deep in the forest and was famous for his knowledge of mystical phenomena. He offered them a dangerous and risky way to rid themselves of the curse, warning them that the path would not be easy and could consume their lives. The Smith family was willing to do anything to get rid of this curse. They traveled to the depths of the forest where an old scribe was waiting for them. He explained to them that the only way to break the curse was to make a deal with the Dark One. The Dark One was an ancient being who dwelled in the shadows and ruled over the world of magic. He could help them, but in return he demanded the most precious thing they had, their souls. The Smith family had their doubts, but they were willing to do anything to save themselves and their children. They made a deal with the Dark One, and he promised to break the curse, but immediately imposed a new condition on them. Each of them had to wear the mark of the deal on their skin, symbolizing their devotion to the Dark One. The Smith family returned home, hoping that the curse would finally be broken. But when they entered their home, they found that the light bulb, on the contrary, burned even brighter and more intensely, as if mocking their despair. The deal with the Dark One was even more horrible than they could have imagined. The marks burned into their skin were a source of unbearable pain that never left them for a moment. Every day they felt their souls become more and more empty, and the bright and good thoughts faded away, replaced by darkness and evil. The family was ensnared by a new curse that was even more terrifying and dangerous than the old one. They realized that the Dark One had no intention of freeing them, only adding to their suffering and pain. The Smith family realized that they needed to try again to find a way out of this nightmare. Immersed in the study of old texts and scrolls, they spent days and nights researching magical theories and rituals that could help them break the curse. Eventually, in the depths of the ancient scrolls, they found mention of an ancient artifact, a crystal of light. Legends said that this crystal was created to protect against dark forces and had the unique ability to break the most powerful curses. But its location remained a mystery. Determined to embark on a dangerous journey, the family set out to find this crystal. They traveled through dense forests covered in fog and traversed mountain peaks covered in snow and ice. At every step they were accompanied by dangers and trials, but they did not stop. Their will was stronger than fear. Eventually, after many weeks of wandering and exploring, they reached the ancient temple where, according to legend, the crystal of light was hidden. But even here, they faced challenges, traps, and protectors whose job it was to keep the ancient artifact from being tampered with. The Smith family braved the obstacles, realizing that their mission held the hope of salvation from the curse that threatened them and their family. Finally, when they reached the deepest level of the temple, they discovered an ancient sacred artifact embedded in the stone walls of the temple centuries ago. With careful respect, they retrieved the crystal of light from its hiding place, feeling its mighty power fill their hearts with hope. Now, with this mighty weapon in hand, they were ready to return home and confront the darkness that threatened their lives and their souls. The family returned home with the crystal, hoping it would help them break the curse that had haunted them for so long. They placed the crystal in the center of the room and began reciting ancient prayers, activating its power. Suddenly, the room was filled with light, brighter and purer than they had ever seen before. The light bulb that had plagued them for so long burst into flames and shattered into tiny shards, disappearing forever. At the end, the family realized that the curse had been broken, their souls freed from the darkness that had long ruled over them. They realized that their journey was not just a struggle against external forces, but an inner journey that made them stronger and wiser. Now that the curse had been defeated, the Smith family could finally begin a new life free from fear and darkness, respecting the new to the land of light and goodness.